What's up, guys? Welcome to one day till move-in, and we are currently here at say their gates of UC Berkeley. And yeah, we are wearing the classic, you gotta flex it, Stanford shirt. Right. Getting some school spirit here as we head back to the dorm rooms. Really nice hallway. This is Blackwell Hall. Bro, it's literally been a while since I've done one of these vlogs, so let's get everything set up. Got my nice mic pack. Plug this in. Yo, hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me... Nice. Well, welcome to my room. Pretty underwhelming right now, but let's do a room tour like really quickly. Here is the room. Here's the closet. I'm happy there's a rack up here so I can just like randomly stuff my clothes there. All of my luggage and belongings are down there. Here's my bed. Funny story, I was sleeping on that side, but then I decided to switch to this side. There was like a huge like dent in the bottom of like this half of my bed. So it was like my back was slouching every single night, so I decided to switch sides. Here is my roommate's bed. Really like how he has like all of the blue going on there. Quite minimalistic, and when people come in they think it's literally like a jail cell. You can see up here. I'm actually quite excited to move out of here tomorrow morning. You know, I always crave that cozy Californian, you know, college dorm life where it's like all of like the ones you see in the movie where it's all like wooden walls and you have this like really cozy and tight-knit environment. So we're gonna be packing, and while I pack I'm just gonna like say some random shit that's on my head. Guys, I must show you this. This is a bag filled with medicine, literally stocked up the entire pharmacy. Our family has a tradition where whenever they send their kids out to overseas studies, they're going to like stock up the entire pharmacy because, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. Like last year, I was at Stanford summer session and I flew off a scooter. Yeah, I literally was like driving 14 km an hour. Luckily didn't have any like serious injuries or anything, but thank God we had one of those medicine packs which helped me disinfect my wound while I was waiting to be sent to the hospital. But yeah, I mean, overall the summer has been quite nice, quite relaxing. And it's really, I think, the first time that I properly set myself in the mindset of, like, I'm actually entering college, entering adulthood, and I actually seriously got to lock in and kind of, like, figure out what I want to be doing, because I know being here at Berkeley, there's going to be so many different opportunities coming up. I was just actually looking at the different club dates that were happening, like consulting clubs, product management clubs, you have all sorts of clubs, right? And I think it can be quite easy to be super spread out, and you spread yourself out too thin and you're not really selective with what you're doing. But I think I fall into the other end of the spectrum as well, where I over plan things and I try to plan out my entire schedule. What actually ends up happening is, because I'm such a career oriented person, I always want to kind of like maximize and optimize my time. I end up not really having those free blocks, just chilling out with friends. A lot of the time those are pretty unpredictable, right? You don't know who you're going to meet, you don't know what's going to happen. And it's more like trusting your intuition and following what feels right rather than listening to your mind so much, because when you listen to your mind a lot, it's quite easy to apply for everything and fill your entire schedule and not leave any room for breathing space, right? Get some socks folded. Even though you do hours of research, there's actually no point of just mentally being stuck in your head thinking about whether this is aligned with you, but rather it's more of like taking the action, right, doing the thing, and then reflecting upon whether or not that feels aligned with your own passion and your own direction. We have our socks here. Oh, what time are you leaving? Oh, so you're driving back 8 hours? Yeah. Scroll for 9 hours is insane.
Oh, like, that's so boring, bro. I'd rather be playing.
Or you can watch Bosco U YouTube video for 9 hours straight. This person was like a hypnotherapist, and she basically hypnotized me.
She hypnotized you?
She hypnotized me. What do you think about it?
How does that even work? Did she just like gaslight you into something?
Yeah, man. Whoa, All right, guys, so we have everything packed. Oh, you know what? What I actually want to do is, this is a yoga mat that I got from Target. And I got this really nice meditation cushion as well. Yeah, and before we leave, I just want to spend some time just enjoying the space and enjoying the last moments in this room. Just really calm ourselves down, because I think a lot of the times after we pack, so much action is happening. We get super frustrated that we left one thing there. Yeah, just like how I left that hanger there. You get super frustrated with these things sometimes, and it can really get into your head. Sometimes it's just nice to tune into the moments of stillness, and just focusing on your breath and mindful breathing. You don't even need to call it meditation. Right? I think a lot of people misunderstand what meditation is. In a sense, they think meditation is one of those monks who sit there for like the entire day and close their eyes and sit crisscross and just meditate and think about nothing. But meditation is actually just as simple as just focusing on your breath and just being in the present moment. Right? For example, like you can be talking to someone, and technically that can be meditating if your attention is 100% into the conversation, where you're not thinking about something else, you're not being distracted by your phone, right? Especially nowadays with so much information and so much things going on, it's quite rare to just sit with ourselves and just feel into the moment. Yeah, meditation can just be as simple as sitting down, laying into the back of your dorm's room's bed and just closing your eyes, or not even closing your eyes, or just observing your surrounding, right? Feeling into your body. Sometimes people ask me, like, what do you mean by feeling into your body? Because we're not taught to feel into our bodies, right? We're always taught to consume external information. But feeling into body just basically means like focusing your awareness on different body parts. For example, as simple as the breath. Like if you really feel into your breath, what you'll actually notice is, if you're actually fully attentive to it, you can feel your breath touching into the two sides of each nostril, and you can really feel it traveling in and into your head and down into your stomach, and how it fills your lungs as well. And you can also observe really like the temperature of your breath. What you'll notice is when you breathe in, the air is actually colder than the air that you breathe out. And I remember telling this to a few of my friends, and they were like mind blown, completely like boom, like for your entire life you've been breathing, right? I think every single day you take a couple million breaths. For the first time, when someone actually pays attention to what the breath is, what this internal mechanism is of keeping you alive, it's like, damn, I actually know how to be a human now, right? AI can't breathe, humans can breathe. So why don't we spend more time, right, enjoying the unique abilities and capabilities that we have as a human being? And this is what it really means to understand ourselves, right? If we really want to understand ourselves and find meaning in our lives, we first need to understand what this is, right? What do we feel energized to, right? And we need to feel into it. That's why we need to be able to reconnect with our body. So before I leave, just gonna do a bit of a couple minutes of meditation, or just breathing into the present moment. And you don't even need to control your breath. You could just let it go and just observe, right? That's the whole point. Just being present means observing and just accepting the moment as it is and just feeling into it. So And if there's any thoughts coming in, it's okay. Just let it flow. Just let it be without actually engaging with it. It can be quite easy to fall into the traps of going into your thoughts. And once you realize that you're in your thought and you come back, you may feel a bit of judgment, a bit of shame, because you didn't succeed in the purpose of the exercise, which was to just be present. But it's okay, we're all human. It takes training. It's like when you go to the gym for the first time, it's not like you're going to instantly go to the end of the rack and pick up the heaviest weight that you see, like that 20 kg dumbbell over there. Obviously you have to start from the beginning, right? Especially if you haven't hit the gym before, right? You start with 10 kg and then you slowly level up. And this is the same thing with mindfulness and breathing. It's like you start off with purely 10 seconds, right? It could just be easy as 10 seconds of just focusing on your breath. And then you scale it up to 20 seconds of holding up your breath, and then you continue ramping it. And over time, you'll see that your attention and your concentration muscle will increase way more, and you'll be able to focus your entire body into whatever activity you're doing, no matter if it's just conversing with someone, if it's doing your work, or if it's just going down the street and then suddenly you see something that relates to the question that you've been thinking of, right? A lot of the time you'll start to realize the universe is actually working with you, right? And it's just that we're not tuned into all of these signs, right? Maybe it's from like a conversation that you're having with someone and they start to mention something that was something that you were struggling to think about. And really just relaxing and appreciating this moment, because there's not going to be another time when you move into college. There's only one fall semester of freshman year, so might as well just fully submerge yourself into this moment and appreciate everything. We have so much stuff, man. I don't even know how we're managing this right now.
Move out mania when you only have one lift. Sit down.
Oh, this one? No? Oh, shit, okay. I destroyed my camera stick.
Bro, this is what happens when you're on foothill. It's like you can't even pull your lug in.
Look at this place. You gotta do a 360. And that's like that's Stern Hall right there, I think, behind me. And this is all foothill. Look at that. This is a really nice bridge connecting the other buildings and House 1, which we are located in. I really like it already. Like the nature and everything, and these open windows, looking out into these magnificent trees with all these textures. Oh my, this is beautiful. It feels like a holiday resort, I'm not gonna lie. There's a suite, and right by the suite there is a lift. We're 1/840, so that's 43, so I'm assuming we're there. All right, so we have 2 keys. Oh, there we go. 1 key. Oh. Damn. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. Oh, is someone in there already? Or they have these nice. Oh, sheesh. Wait, I'm actually a fan of this. It's a really nice common room. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really nice common room. So where are we? Oh, we're here. What the hell? So we have Ian and Nicholas, Nathan and Alonzo. Really nice whiteboard too. Norit and David. Omar and Gaith. And we have a really nice bathroom. Wait, this is sick. Wait, this is sick. Bro, this is big W. Basically, yeah, it's 1, 2. So there's 2 showers. There's 3 showers? 3 showers and 2 toilets, 4 sinks, and we're sharing this amongst 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people, kind of, 11 people, because we have the triple suite. Okay, that's a bit underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. Some nice shelves here. Please see there's another room inside the room. I guess I was expecting a bit more with the room to be like way bigger for some reason, but I'm not complaining. Like with the environment, everything, I think this is one of the dorms where it's more cozy and more tight-knit, but we definitely have to check out the rest of the place. We have the laundry room, lobby, lounge, and recreation room all in this building. We're in building 1A, right? So this is like the mini map that they gave us. Looks quite nice, and we are right here. I feel like this is like a community itself, and then this feels like it's part of another community, but there's a bridge connecting these two. And I'm on the floor, the 4th floor, which connects the 2 buildings. There's a library. There's a Foothill library. What the hell? We gotta check that out. It's a W. I think we landed a W housing placement. So yeah, let's get settled in. It's time for a room tour. So here is the final desk setup that I decided to go for. It was originally facing the wall, but I decided to flip the table the other way because I wanted my back to face the window and have like a better background whenever I do any meetings. Here's all the cabinets with all of our stuff in here. Nice. And this is all the winter clothing for later on. We have all of our sockets. Nice mic setup with our desk. iPad. There's books in our drawers. And here is our cabinets. And I was pretty surprised that each of us gets 2 cabinets because there is 6, which is really nice. So more than enough space for clothes. And that right there is my formal dressing if I'm ever gonna do job interviews. All right, guys, so I've spent some time brainstorming and thinking about how I want to approach the semester, and I just want to share with you guys because I think will be super useful, especially for those trying to plan out and think about their future. So this is the framework that I was using, and it was inspired by this book called A Happy Pocket Full of Money, and I'll highly recommend this book. This book basically talks about the overarching principles of how everything is created, no matter if it's like your computer, your phone, right? Or even the thoughts in your head. It really dives into the fundamentals of how you attract different things into your life because of the state of being that you're in, and also the things that you're thinking about, which is directly affected by the state of being. And really breaking this framework down into simple terms, our state of being, which is how we fundamentally relate to something and how we feel about something. For example, our relationship with this room, right? We can either see this room as like a positive lens or in a negative lens, or we can feel super anxious about a particular thing, or we can be super grateful about these things. That feeling and that state that we have fundamentally affects the thoughts, right? Because, for example, when you feel super unhappy, then you start having unhappy thoughts. Or when you listen to a sad song, then automatically you're triggering a state of sadness, which then triggers sad thoughts. And eventually that's going to affect your action, and that's going to affect how you speak on a day-to-day life. I think a lot of us like to work from one of these few stages rather than going into the being stage. And oftentimes we neglect this being stage because it's such a subjective internal phenomenon. Once you're able to master this being stage, you're able to be more present and more focused in your current awareness, which then allows you to really realize what truly and authentically matters to you. Because a lot of the times you see that we get pulled into this direction, we get pulled into that direction, and it's not really because we want that thing, but it's more we're acting based on our thoughts, right? We're acting based on peer pressure or something that doesn't align to us, which then eventually causes us to feel shameful, feel guilty for doing particular activities afterwards. So if we're able to tame essentially our mind and go back to this being state where we're just fully present with listening to our body, then that's going to really help us with whatever domains we're going to pursue. How I prioritize this semester is that I want to continue having this habit of maintaining this being and mindfulness state with meditation routines of meditating for 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening, and also doing frequent journaling. So doing like a end of week journaling and also spending time in nature. And then afterwards, I would also like to focus more on my speaking in general. I think I have done a pretty good job with like intention, choice, and goals over the past couple of months, or I'll even say the past year, and make more of these videos where I explain different concepts, relationship and networking, right? That's also a really important thing, because once you have the being, once you have the thinking, this is all still done within yourself, right? This is all like the self-development stuff. But eventually, if you want to create meaning in your life, then you need to develop skills to speak and to act, right? And this is actually committing to projects, right? Finding these meaningful conversations in places that you resonate the most and building these connections out. And I think that's something that I want to be focusing more on, other than the being aspect, because there's a part of me that wants to spend more time in thinking, because this is my comfort zone, right? Reading more books, learning about more frameworks, learning about more concepts. But no matter how many books you read, if you don't physically apply it to the world, it's just a theory. It's just a dogma that you're believing, because it's actually not your truth, because it's someone else's book, right? How do you know that something is actually working if you haven't tested it for yourself? Well, you don't, right? That's the whole point. The whole point of knowledge is that you need to know it yourself through testing, right? All of these intellectual stuff is nice, but then goes back to the application. So I guess one of my main priorities is this application. It's also like honoring this side of myself, because I think, especially as someone who loves to overthink things, overanalyze things, it's quite easy for me to make excuses and just stay in my room and do projects that are really solo driven. So I guess during the semester, I want to focus more on networking with people and meeting new people. And I think Berkeley is an amazing place to do this, because literally I think there's 10,000 students on campus. There's so many different clubs, 2,000 new freshmen or more. And I'm quite excited, right? Like, it's like going back into this childlike state where you're really just having fun and just chilling out. And yeah, I can't wait for the fall semester to begin. So yeah, hopefully this little yap inspired you with understanding maybe more of the psyche, or maybe, I don't know, some nice drawings up there. But it's 7 p.m. right now. I'm going to grab some food. And yeah, I think we'll end this video here. Overall, this dorm is really nice. I'm pretty grateful that move-in day was quite smooth. It was quite a quiet one because we are quite early and I don't think there's anyone on campus yet. Thank you guys for sticking around if you're still here. Peace out.